Hey Mets fans, welcome back to the channel. And what an off season this has been for the New York Mets under their new regime. Between all the highs and the lows, definitely more highs than anything else outside of Jared Porter. But seriously, all I feel like is that I'm constantly on the edge of my seat, on the tips of my toes, and just constantly on edge as a whole, because the Mets showing interest in all these different names out there. And now with the Mets out of the George Springer running, what is next for them, right? Well, what has since been reported literally just this past hour here through Mets Mesmerize, as you can see, is that the Mets have just recently been in contact with the Reds on a possible trade regarding Sonny Gray and Eugenio Suarez. Like, oh my god. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video. A summary on both these players' games, the type of trade package we could see the Mets possibly propose for them, if this thing will actually pick up, why this is such a great move for the Mets, all the pros and cons to everything in this situation, and everything in between. And as always, guys, make sure you stay all the way until the end of the video, find all the deets and all my thoughts on Suarez and Gray and their connection to the Mets currently, and if something can possibly get done. If you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things, guys. It really mean a lot, and thank you so much for the countless support. But enough of me talking, we got to get right into this video. Starting off, we have Sonny Gray, the 31-year-old right-handed pitcher, originally drafted in the first round back in 2011 by the Oakland A's at 5'10", 195 pounds, had a strong 2020 campaign with the Reds, in which in 11 games played in 56 innings pitched, he put up 5 wins, 3 losses, an ERA of 3.7, a total of 72 strikeouts, a 1.21 whip, 11.57 K per 9, and a 4.18 walks per 9. In 2019, in his first full season with the Cincinnati Reds, in 31 games played in 175.1 innings pitched, he put up 11 wins, 8 losses, a total of 2.87 ERA, 205 strikeouts, a 1.08 whip, 10.52 K per 9, and a 3.49 walks per 9. And in his career totals, 197 games played and 1,132 total innings pitched, Gray has put up 75 wins, 63 losses, a 3.54 career ERA, 1,066 strikeouts, and a 1.22 whip. Gray is also a 2-time All-Star, in 2015 in the AL with the Oakland A's, and in 2019 with the Cincinnati Reds in the NL, and he has had 6 seasons with a sub 3.7 ERA. And last but not least, we have 29-year-old third baseman Eugenio Suarez. At a righty at the bat and in the field with his glove, the 5'11", 213-pounder has been one of the better hitters and one of the better sluggers in all of baseball these past couple years. In 2020, in the shortened season for the Reds, in 57 games played, had 15 home runs, 38 RBIs, and a 202 batting average, which was low. But in 2019, in 159 games played, had 49 home runs, 103 RBIs, a 274 batting average, a 358 on base percentage, a 572 slugging, and a 730 OPS. And throughout his career in 856 games played and 3,015 at-bats, has racked up 162 home runs, 468 RBIs, a 261 career batting average, a 342 on base percentage, a 473 slugging, and an 815 OPS. Eugenio Suarez is a 1-time All-Star back in 2018, repping the Cincinnati Reds for the National League. And to give you guys some further information on Sonny Gray in regards to his command, just take a look at this, his advanced numbers here. Really stellar stuff during the shortened 2020 season. His spin rate has really skyrocketed. It's very similar to Trevor Bauer, his former teammate, and he has just had an unbelievably great job with his command during his time with the Reds. And then when you want to get into what exactly his pitches are in his arsenal, he's currently working with 5 pitches, as you probably know by now, that being his curveball that tops out around 81 miles per hour, his sinker around 93 miles per hour, his four-seam fastball around 93 miles per hour, his slider around 88 miles per hour, and his changeup around 90 miles per hour. And when you look at his best pitch this past 2020 short season in regards to strikeouts, it's definitely been his sinker by far. It is at least double the next best pitch he has, which I believe is his slider. His slider had around 15 strikeouts in the short 2020 season, and his sinker has led the way with 33. So in regards to his command, his sinker has looked great, and I know everyone's kind of worried about Sonny Gray, how he did in the big stage, in the big market with the Yankees. I'm trying to bury that down, and I stated that in my previous video regarding Sonny Gray as well. In regards to how he was utilized with the Yankees, one, he was going into a big market for the first time, a lot of pressure with the Yankees, we know this, but 2, they weren't letting Sonny Gray be Sonny Gray. They weren't letting him utilize his best pitches. They constantly made him throw his slider more than what he was accustomed to, and the connection just simply wasn't there. Sonny Gray has literally stated this, I believe, on record since then, that was one of the reasons for his falling out with the Yankees, because of how his utilization was. And I think if you look at how he's doing with the Reds, how he did with the A's before that, I would only imagine that him going to the Mets would be the best fit in regards to them using analytics to his advantage, things that he's accustomed to, and letting him roll and just be himself himself. That is how you're going to get the best Sonny Gray, who's still one of the better pitchers in all baseball. And now you have the option here of Sonny Gray and, yes, Eugenio Suarez. It doesn't get much better than that. I'm ecstatic just at this thought, the fact that this has been reported originally by Tim Ryder, who is one of the main writers for Mets Mesmerized, but now that has come out in the article for Mets Mesmerized today, this is huge, because I was just talking about this last night in the late night stream regarding George Springer. Now they signed with the Blue Jays, what is next for the Mets? I didn't mention Suarez as part of a package deal, and then bam, here we go. So I'm really happy about this. I think this would be amazing for the Mets. And with Eugenio Suarez, when you look at his numbers, this guy from the span of 2016 to 2019 had 4 straight seasons with at least 21 home runs and 70 plus RBIs. His numbers have literally only trended upward outside of the short 2020 season. He did not have a great 2020. The batting average wasn't there, but again, a lot of players didn't have a great 2020. And if it was a full 162 game season, he very well could have picked up the pace and gone back to at least a 250 average, among other things. So Suarez is in the prime of his career. He still currently has 4 years left on his contract, just under 45 million, I believe, and he has a club option for the 2025 year, in which he would be making around 15 million. But that's assuming that, you know, he either stays or he goes. If he stays, then he makes another 15 mil that year. If he doesn't, then he will be hitting free agency in 2025. But then when you get on to Sonny Gray, he has 2 years left on his contract at just around 20 mil or so. He'll be making 10 mil in 2021 and 10.2 mil in 2022, and then he has a club option for the 2023 season, in which if he leaves, then he won't be making an additional 12 million, but if he stays, he'll be making another 12 million. So these guys are on really strong contracts, exactly what the Mets would be looking for, if you ask me. And for a Mets team that is still trying to add to this rotation, trying to upgrade on third base, we know the story with JD Davis by now, and don't get me wrong, I love JD Dingers Davis, Double D Davis, whatever you want to call him, but realistically, the Mets have been wanting to add a new third baseman, a starting third baseman, which very well could mean that JD Davis could be on the way out. I don't want to see JD go, but if he has to be part of this deal, which very well could be likely, it won't all be that surprising to me. So I want to know your thoughts in the comments below, as always, guys. But before we get to the end of the video, I just want to add a little bit further how breaking this will be for the Mets if they can actually get this deal done. Because you bring Sonny Gray in this rotation, then you look at things and oh my god, are they something? You have Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher in baseball, DeGoat. Then you have Marcus Stroman, who still is in the prime of his career. Then you also have Carlos Cookie Carrasco, right? And then you go after that, you have David Peterson. I mean, Sonny Gray would be there. And then you have David Peterson still. And then you have Steven Matz, and I know Matz the story. And then you have Lucchesi, they just acquired. The Mets have so many options in regards to their rotation, but they would easily have one of the best rotations, if not the best in all of baseball, should they acquire Sonny Gray. Even if Sonny Gray only pitches to a 3.5 ERA or maybe a 3.7 ERA, that's going to be perfectly fine for what his utilization will be in the slab for the Mets in this win now stage on a really great contract. It's a bargain contract when you look at how great Sonny Gray has been playing. And same thing can also be said with Eugenio Suarez. That's perfectly fine. Suarez is going to be making just around 11 million in the 2021 season and then beyond. So I think when it goes to Suarez in particular, he would be a great get for the Mets. You bring a guy that is only a year removed. Same thing with Alonso, right? Alonso had a down year, so did Suarez in regards to average. These guys are both hitting bombs. Suarez hit 49 home runs in the 2019 season, guys. 49 home runs. The year before that, over 30. So he has been in a progression upward. I would not put too much stock into 2020. They're both on great team-friendly contracts that could really bode well, and this could be the last blockbuster of the offseason for the Mets. But if you're asking me, especially with everything that transpired after Jared Porter, this would be so fitting. I said how George Springer would make even more sense now to try to take the negative light away from the Mets that's been shining on them the past 24 to 48 hours. But if they can make a blockbuster like this happen, it'll easily make the Mets one of the best teams in all of the MLB. It will definitely make them a World Series contender for sure at that point. And it's such an amazing thing to say. They still have to address the outfield, and I will touch on that in other videos. Don't worry, maybe even later today. But in regards to third base, you got that covered. And in regards to Sonny Gray, you have a rotation truly one of the best in all of baseball. So what do you have to give up to get these guys? Well, obviously JD Davis would be highly susceptible to being dealt. Ronnie Mauricio would possibly be able to be dealt as well. Hopefully the Mets can keep him, but they might have to cough him up, because I know that the Reds are definitely trying to add some shortstop depth, and it won't be too detrimental to the Mets if they do in fact lock up Lindor for the next decade, which definitely seems likely if you ask me. But if they do that, then great. But also Brandon Nimmo could very well be dealt as well, which could give the Mets more incentive to trying to go a certain direction in regards to the outfield still, either through free agency options or through the trade avenue, among some others. But JD Davis, Brandon Nimmo really stand out to me as being really crucial pieces in this type of deal. Ronnie Mauricio possibly, but if the Mets can try to not give up a top prospect like that, then you do it. If they didn't have to give it up for the likes of Lindor and Carrasco, they probably shouldn't be able to give up one here in this situation, because obviously Lindor and Carrasco has more of a worth, even with him being a rental, versus guys like Suarez and Gray, even as good as they are. Lindor is just one of the best players in all of baseball. So if you're not coughing up a top 10 prospect for him, well, the highest the Mets gave up was a number 9 prospect. Regardless, however, hopefully the Mets don't have to give up a top 1 in this type of trade, but they do. I can live with Mauricio going, knowing that Lindor will be the shortstop for the next decade, more than likely for the Mets. So Mets fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about these latest reports? Would you like to see Eugenio Suarez and Sonny Gray come in a blockbuster package deal with the Mets? Do you think it's going to come to fruition? Do you think that's going to be the next move for the Mets? What do you expect the Mets to do in the coming weeks, or really throughout the remainder of the week? Do you think that this very well could be a deal that would make sense for both sides? Because I see it. I think it would be a perfect fit for numerous reasons, and this would definitely get the Mets where they want to be for both short-term and long-term success. Thank you all so much again, guys. Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe and share this video with your friends if you ended up enjoying this kind of baseball content and want to see more great baseball content like this for the Mets. And I'll talk to you guys again real soon.